Hi there. How are you doing? Welcome. We speak music, we speak sound design, all that kind of good stuff. Hello, my name's John Skippy Limcool. Welcome to a new Plugin Guru live stream. There's all sorts of fun stuff today to show you. I have some kind of big plans. We'll see how I do without crashing. Fingers crossed. Ha ha ha. Let's see here. I want to make sure that I pause this. Shane's there. Out and about's there. Welcome, guys. Welcome. I can't spell today. Not to the jungle. The live stream. But I started right at 12 o'clock. Proud of myself for that. That's pretty cool. Hey, so in the last week, I have been writing a lot of music. And I've been using Keyscape. And I've been using the Kolours library. And I've also got Bob Ditas involved. I commissioned him to do a demo song that came out so good. Oh my gosh. And I don't have my usual setup. I need to go over here. Apologies. Let me get show MIDI and get that map down here. There you go. Now you can see what I'm playing. And my batteries died for the GoPro, so no hover camera over the 4 MIDI CCs. Sorry. Let's open this up so you can see all 5. This is one of the multis, and this is really fun. This is using arpeggiator, doing a really simple just up and down, stairs up and down, which is a new mode in 2.6. And it has processing on it that's differently than the piano, which is I actually modified this. The original Windy City is quite a bit different. If we were to go over here to go to the full library and come down here to Chili. Yeah, see, it's so modified, it's not even... The real Windy City is a much more processed. So I simplified it a lot to make it more just like a piano. Right? So if we call this all back up, go multis, give me back to right here. And we are piano strata. And hello. Let's do this. Let's have it. Might take it a second. Hello. Just love Kolours. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad you like it. I have a couple of tips that I've been talking with a number of customers that some people on their systems are having some interesting challenges. And by the way, there's an update to the Kolours library that you can download right now from the website if you want. I'll be showing you in a minute one of the demos using one of the new patches. But if we come over here to the Kolours library, you'll notice at the very top of the list, there's 5 808 key bases. 808 day was 2 days ago. And I spent the day and made some 808 basses and did a demo song using those 808 basses. So those are included. And I also created like the brightest rock piano yet. But one thing about the pianos, when you're looking at the keyboard sounds, either here or in the piano itself. If you hit this little magnifying glass under oscillator, this takes you deep inside the sample engine of Omnisphere. And you have all sorts of parameters here. I don't know if you're familiar with this area. This is where all the release samples for all the different instruments are. You can actually marry the release samples from one thing with the samples of something else if you wanted to do some kind of weird stuff. There's applying piano effects, which is that damper noise. If I really turn this up loud. Oh, wait, this is not a sound you're going to hear it on. Let's go initialize multi, just so I can show you this really quickly and clearly. So if we go over here to just the piano, let's say, right? I'll take a second to load up. Okay, so if you go over here, magnifying glass in, here's your release samples. The transition time is important. If the release is too short, you can use transition time to relax that variation between the sample starts and the sample ends. And the sample ends don't ring out as long as I would like. So I like this transition. The Omnisphere is in this area, which isn't that natural sounding, but you can make it longer really easy. And up here, if you hit thin, sample thinning is an interesting situation where you would think that turning it on would save CPU. And I have countless emails from different customers that have found this not to be the case. I'm letting Spectrasonics know so they can look into this, because it's kind of weird that when you use sample thinning, which means it should be like using less sample maps, it works and uses more CPU power for some people. So if you're playing patches and you're getting crackling and you're getting something that sounds like, if you're holding down notes, let's see, there's one in particular that did this really noticeably. It's a Chili Fusion. If you of course, it won't do it for me now, right? But if it is, you can try turning off sample thinning, which will have it actually load more sample maps and more of the parameters that it's saved with as its default, and the crackling might go away for you. You know? So that's one place, and actually I'm hearing crackling now. But that's one place I've had customers report back that by turning that sample thinning off, it actually made more efficient CPU usage for them, so they could do things that they couldn't do before. So that's one place to investigate if you are having that issue, okay? Let's do this. I'm going to show you a demo song using the 808 to start with. So let's say Chili City Fat 808. Now my audio might get weird. I'm going to, let's close and we'll save. So it's going to be silence for a second, but I'll be right back. All right, we're back. And I'm going to turn these guys off. So this is this is just a little sound optimization, but it causes latency, so I'm going to get rid of it. This is a demo using the hip hop piano, which has instability and record noise in the sample. Okay, and it's using the new where's the 808? Oh, this is one using actually an 808 banger. ADSR. I don't know if you know this. I'll prop this into the sample. Let me see if I can find this. I think they're still free. They had an 808 Day Volume 2. ADSR. Where is it? Or I'll just search for 808 Day. Well, if you search for 808 day ADSR, oh wait, there they are. 808. Maybe not, but they had an email. If you subscribe to the ADSR mailing list, they had an 808 giving away like 20 808 samples for free. And so I grabbed them. And they're really nice. They come with some Syrian patches. There's also stuff, but those are free. So that's in this demo. In a minute, I'll play you another demo that's using an 808 made inside a keyscape. All right, so this is the, it's called, I think I call it Chili City is the final of it. Ready? Here we go. I'm gonna kill my microphones. I love hip hop. So, this demo, it's very simple, but if you by finding the right sounds, it makes a huge difference. The drum groove is coming from Break Tweaker from one of our own libraries, a library made by NATO Fields called OMG Urban, and it's like WOA. And then I went to a couple of the hi-hat patterns. Here, let's do this. If I right click and say pattern copy, if I was to call back up the original of what this sounds like WOA, let's see, let's go like this, This original groove is like this, right? So the first thing you have to do, get rid of the boom, because I'm gonna have an 808 from somewhere else, and get rid of the melody, so you hit mute for those parts. Then I hit sync, so it's now listening to the sync of my computer. And then I went through and I just took some of these parts and I would double them and select these and open them up to be like, have it do like 16 on that one piece. Right? And what I ended up with, if I go paste pattern, I modified the kick pattern. I wanted to hit there. And then I added 2 little busy parts. This is repeating 9 times. This is repeating 9 times. This is down -2. This is up 3. So you can tune them up. So this would be down in pitch. You know, you can do all that kind of stuff. And then I use the fills, which are found on like E flat, E, and F are fills, and A is a snare by itself. So by just I have all I need for the groove right there in Break Tweaker with that pattern. But I got rid of the sub boom and I got rid of the synth, things that had melody. I wanted to have the boom come from somewhere else, so I'm using and I also tuned up the kick drum of the Break Tweaker that's tuned up higher than default because I wanted it to marry. You got to listen carefully to your frequencies and how they're relating between kicks. If you click right here on the waveform, you can go in and tune. find the frequency that you want for those. So I work closely to get those guys married together. As far as other sounds, there's every now and then there's a synth sound. This is one of the groove sounds from inside of the Keyscape library. Go over here to Keyscape. This is Minima Motif, and it's found inside of the multi called I Live Minima. I can show that really quickly here if we wanted to. Well, no, I don't want to break everything else up because I have other sounds playing too. Then there's a B section where I have it go to the Broken Roads. And I have it go to Chili Toy Pad. So those guys play a little B section right here. They're back into the groove. And the I Live Minima, I'm not holding it for the whole length of the whole sequence. Something to think about. A lot of these BPM patches and stuff, use them just sparingly, just like this much of it. I mean, and it's gone. And then the effects take over. That's all you need, just every now and then, right? And then at the end, I actually had it go a lot more. If we go over here and we say show automation, you can see that, let's see if we go to the region, we can see there's modulation. I can actually click here and open it all up. So you can see all the modulation, the modulation and soft pedal are both being used on this last piece. Change the harmonics of it. Right? Add effects, do stuff. So little subtle changes in frequencies is really fun to do. So this is one of the demos. Had a good time doing that one. Close. Don't. All right. Give it a second. This is Colorful Carnival. And it's another demo. There we go. Let me turn these guys off. We don't need them per se. They were just for mastering it out a little bit more optimized. There. Okay, so this is one that I believe here's our 808. So I made an 808 where are you at? Come back here. Here you are. 808 Keybase 1. And let's see, there's 4 or 5 different did I break it? Oh man. Yeah, this has been happening lately. There's something weird. Okay, let me revert this. 1 second. Sorry. To saved. Revert. I don't know what's going on, but I've done this where it's gone away sometimes. Hurry up. It's got to load everything up. Oh, now you're not playing at all. Oh, great. No plugin, no plugin. Get rid of these guys. Get my audio back. Okay. Then we'll say no plugin, and we'll put Atmosphere back in because it's just a patch. I didn't do anything magical to it other than go over here to the library. Colors for Keyscape. There it is. So there's 5 of these. Some have some cool harmonics. Right? This has a little distortion, a little edge to it. Let me play the demo. This one goes to, it's like 3 different chapters. I was picturing it like you're at a weird carnival and there's all sorts of crazy stuff going on. So here we go. It's a carnival in France. So doing like little air melody passages. Using a real-time controller to bring out distortion in that sound. Is a piano. Cool, huh? So I love that. This was really fun. But it shows you a lot of the variety of the sounds in this library. We went a lot of different places there. So I showed you first the 808 sub. Didn't sound great, just sounds... Right? Okay, so on top of that, we've got inside of Contact, we've got Super Macho drums playing the Dope VST hip hop kit. Let's see, we don't need to have the browser open. And this is one where I just played it and then I quantized it loosely. I didn't quantize it to 100%, but what notes were it? So we could click here and click here. So it... So just playing a simple, if we solo it. Okay. Then on top of this, I added a secret weapon, which is Stylus RMX. A lot of people have kind of like forgotten about Stylus RMX, but it has so many tools for rhythm still to this day that are really fun. So I used a drum loop from an expander pack that I created, a drum loop library I made like 15, 20 years ago called Noisebox. And this is part of the Snake Groove, the original, right? But I used Snake Loop 1. And then if you tie that with the drum loop, hello, and solo it, fun doing a live stream and you have all this stuff going on in it. So I had that going, but I think I set it to halftime so that it would play. Why are you not? Oh, halftime, right? And then I dragged the MIDI file over so that it's just got this little, its timing is different than the hip hop groove. You'll just hear little things every now and then, so it worked out really well. When the B section comes in with the piano solo and stuff, that's Break Tweaker, and that is a groove from back in the day. This is Jabra Kava, which is one of those that comes inside of the Mega Macho drums library for Break Tweaker. And I believe this is one where I set the playback speed to half time so that just got this really cool, weird vibe, weird snare and all that stuff, right? So when you put that into the mix, happening. And then again, because of the way that I set up the rules when we did all of these libraries for Break Tweaker, there's notes that have F is the third of the fills. And so you know you have fills, you have basic grooves, you have this, you have everything you need to do cool breakdowns and fills and stuff. So that's going on there. If you're familiar with the song Another Heart Breaks from ELO, that's kind of what I was having as just kind of inspiring chord progression back and forth, kind of that vibe. I love that song. Then up here, the sounds of the actual instruments from Keyscape. There's part one is, if we can get, let's see, this to go like that and show what's going on. Oh, this comes in for part four, so no, let's go away. Everything's so slow because there's a lot being loaded into this, and I'm doing a live stream at the same time. So let's open this up. Here we go. If we look at the multi, so we've got Chili Dahlia for the first piano. And what's fun with this, let me see what's going on real quick, is that Dahlia is one of these that has a random component to it. It's got these other two oscillators of percussion that happen in and out. So each time you play a note, so if you're familiar with Niels Fromm, Olafur Arnold's, other people in that kind of like doing things to pianos to prepare them to do things, I was kind of being inspired by that concept of it's just changing. There's stuff happening each time you play a note. So that's the opening. There's just stuff. It's like somebody in the back is magically doing this to your thing, right? The melody that comes in is played on Chili Let It Rain. And there's modulation. If we hit automation, I'm bringing in just some harmonic changes just to make it interesting and fill in the holes in this groove, because the groove's nice and slow, so you need to sometimes fill those so it's not just dead space. Otherwise it's boring and people go to sleep. But by putting little harmonic things in there, it's like, ooh, it's alive, it's doing stuff. So putting stuff like that in is fun. Okay. Now right here, I just have the piano, the electric piano, the Chili Dahlia is just being supportive. Because on top of this, I have the piano softer. So here's the two together. And if we wanted to lock this, I just played live, and what's nice with this piano is it's even though it's a soft piano, you have a lot of expressive range you can work with. Oh wait, so I wanted to come back here. So you have that supporting Dahlia just kind of like going, ooh, it's just hugging the piano so the solo can take place, and it's just. And then for the final section, there's two things. There's this sound, which is one of the Dance Ambient piano patches, Dance Ambi House 1. Doing just happy little pulsing thing. And then I needed to use a separate omnisphere because this is a multi. And for some reason, this multi has a special trait where it makes these really weird clicks, which you don't want it to make. So if it does it, I'll show you how to fix it. But if we go over here and say Spiritual Rush Hour, yes. Hear those clicks? And sometimes they're there and sometimes they're not. It's this patch, Chili Abstracta Layer B. It's a high pass filter. And because of it being as high as it is, it's like doing some DC offset thing. So if I bring this down, it gets rid of it when you get down to a certain frequency in the range. I don't know why. It didn't do it when I saved it, and it doesn't do it all the time. It's one of these random things that pops up. So if you do that, bring down the volume a little bit. So this is doing this really cool thing where it's a piano, electric piano, so it's nice and warm. But when you put that with the acoustic piano that's doing the you get this really nice, happy, dancey vibe. And then the sub. It's not about how many tracks. It's what you do with the tracks you use. So this is 3 parts. Listen to this carefully. This is this kind of important stuff a lot of you guys need to pay attention to. This is 3 parts. It's a bass and then 2 complementary keyboards. There's room for a melody if you want it on top, but you don't need more than this. And then the drums. So that came out really fun. That was a nice half of a day of work. So let me show you one more that I did, and then I'm going to show you the most epic of them all. So hang on. This one has a lot going on. This actually has probably more synth stuff than I've got in the other ones for sure. Here is the logic file for it. I'll play it for you and then we'll dissect it, okay? Here we go. This is called Taking Flight. And it always clicks when I start it up. Just an idea, show you the possibilities, what you can do. So this has a handful of, let's go to Omnisphere first and show the keyscape patches that were used. This is using Gray Cloud, which is another one that has some subtle things in the attack. Okay. Part 2 is the bass, which is coming from Deep Roads. And I found with this that there's sometimes some clicking from the compressor. So work on the threshold. If the threshold and the saturation, there's some parameters here you can modify. Right in there somewhere it was clicking, and so I found a place that worked better. It's good to have a little compression on this to make it just really full and round. Journey to Pajora, that's a sound from Jason Schopfer that's in the library, one of 3 that he contributed. And it has just a... this really cool other synthy stuff layered with the piano. Which is just nice little colorful ear candy, like, ooh, you know, when you just kind of hits and you go, oh, hey, I like that. Now, when we hit the midsection and the drums and groove take off, I wanted to keep using this piano sound, right? But I wanted, it's got drums and it's busy and there's synth parts. That reverb and stuff gets in the way. And so I did a thing where you go to part 1 and you say copy part. And then I went to part 4 and I said paste part. So I made a duplicate of the part, but then I went through and I turned down the reverb. I turned off some other effects that were going on in here, and I made it so that I had a version of the piano that right? And then right there, I let it go back to the... So now we're back to really dreamy, reverby things. So don't let something that has reverb be in parts where it gets muddy. If you want to do it, you can easily copy parts and paste parts, modify effects, change the timbre a little bit, make it cut a little more if you want for a section, right? So that's what I did here. So that way when it came to this other part. Now, over here, I have VPS Avenger. I have a patch that I made from scratch in Serum. And I'm just using the formant filter, and I'm using the same LFO to basically modulate a whole bunch of parameters in the wave shape position and stuff all at the same time. And then I have a sound from Omnisphere. I don't know. I think this is a sound that came from, yeah, this is my angry cheap organ from Beautifully Broken that just is sitting there going, and then the sound from VPS Avenger is, so you put these three together and you get this nice happy kind of future bassy, weirdy synthy stuff. And if you combine that with the electric piano, this is why I wanted the electric piano to be dry. And then add the bass. And the bass is a busy part. They all work together, see? Okay. And then drums. I did a whole bunch of crazy stuff with the drums. I had fun. Okay. So, and what's over here? Oh, these were effects. I added some transition effects because transitions are important. Well, let's do the drums first, and then I'll show you the transitions. So, a lot of this is coming from Stylus RMX. There's like 3 different groove elements in Stylus RMX that are playing through this, but I'm automating them like crazy to have like the shakers. Here, let's just listen to Stylus RMX, what it's doing. There's a shaker part that comes in here. And I'm going up and down on the modulating of the filter cutoff of the shaker. So if we go to edit, I think, let's see if you can see this. Maybe not. Or was it on an effect? Yeah, it's here. It's the power filter on the filter cutoff. I have the filter on the shaker going from dark to bright. So when you hear it in the mix, there's just a little bit something in there. And the shaker comes in and just kind of, it's got life because it changes. See, I have it going up and down. It's just, that gives it life so it's not just sitting there being flat. The days of being flat are over. With automation and stuff, it's so easy to do fun stuff with automations. So that was going on. Then here is another Stylus RMX groove. This is from Burning Grooves, which is another one of the expander libraries. And I went in, and what I do quite often with these, let's see, this is part 4. So we go over here to part 4. If you go over here, you drag the MIDI file into your song. So you don't just let it play like a loop, but you actually drag it over like this. And then if you compare between this and what I did in the final version, you'll see that I moved notes around. So I modified it to have the groove that I wanted, so it's not just playing that open hi-hat and stuff. No thank you. I wanted just driving groove, right? Because I'm going to be putting this with all sorts of other stuff Oh, and from Serum, I also had, yeah, I showed you those guys. So this groove, where's the other drums? There's one more track of drums, I believe, or not, maybe not. Yeah, up here, here, right here, contact. Super Macho Drums is, of course, being employed. It's playing the east west, the sound, the trap kit, but I also put not just those things, but there's some really nice, useful, splatty stuff. And so that's what is happening there. Combine that with the burning groove. So that groove is going. Then I had one more omnisphere that I popped up, and I used 2 transitions. One of them from Signs of Life, the Dream Jet Sweep, which is right? And the number 2 is, I believe, from Beautifully Broken. Yeah, this is Falling Through a Foxhole. So by putting those transitions leading into this place where the music changes. So if I go, hear that? Just let you know something's coming. And without these, it's nowhere nearly as nicely sounding production. You have to have transitions. It's just, they really make a difference in how things work. And if I was to really get picky with this, I'd probably go back and you could do all sorts of things like that, bring up the volumes, and then at the end, let's see, turn off. Have a little falling thing. So all those things go together, make a fun demo song. I just need some killer singer to come over and sing on it, right? Cool. All right, so I'm ready to show you the world premiere. We have a world premiere of a video. Oh my gosh. So let me lock this window so I can come back here, because I'm going to mess it up. Did I lock it? I thought I said I did. So if I hit 1, it'll come back to here. Everything's so slow on my computer. My goodness. So this is a video. So I got a call from my second cousin, probably like about 2 weeks ago or less. And he's like, I'm going to propose to my girlfriend. He's had this girlfriend since high school. She's sweet, and they were meant to be together. And so it's a really cool situation. And he's like, I'm going to propose to her. I want to do it at a winery. There's got this big tree out in the middle of nowhere. And I'd like you to come photograph it. And because I do photography as a passion, I could do it professionally, but it's hard to make money. And I love making sounds. So I do this instead. Photography is like my therapy to keep me sane. And I brought my daughter along to video it because he wanted video as well. And so it came out so nicely. And at the same time, I had commissioned Bob to write a demo song, and I hadn't given him any parameters per se. And so he wrote this really beautiful piece that when I played it with the raw video footage of this proposal that my second cousin did, it was like so perfect. I was like, oh, these go together really well. The shape of it and everything is insane. This situation happened a long time ago with Omniverse 3. If you watch the Omniverse 3 video, there is, at the very beginning of the video, for the patch walkthrough, there is this amazing amazing piece of music written by Emin Bhatia, this Canadian composer, dear friend of mine. And he wrote it at the same time that I commissioned someone to make a 4-page comic book story of how this planet became aware and reversed the type of light that was coming into the planet to be aurora light. That's why the library is called Aurora. And it basically reversed the machines and blew them up. And so 2 people working in 2 different places work on something that when they came together, the synergy of that is even more amazing than this. This is nice, but that one was truly like shocking because it follows page by page, cell by cell, the story to where I still get goose pimples when I talk about it because it's just incredible. But this came out really, really great. And this is the world premiere. I'll be having it. It's available. It's hidden right now on YouTube, but I'll make it public after this. But this is the world premiere of The Proposal. So I hope you enjoy as my dog is barking in the background. Here we go.
Oh my god. Oh my
Yay!
Oh my god.
And of course, the pictures start to get fuzzy. The resolution's better than that. It's actually a lot of the video footage was 4K, but isn't it cool how it like works so nicely with the music? You know, all the. And if you listen, you hear everybody Paige didn't know it, but all of her relatives, her parents and Colton's parents are all up at this winery up here waiting, and you hear them right here cheer in the background just when the groove starts.
Oh.
Right here.
Oh my god.
You know, I mean, it just all worked with the music so nicely. So I talked to him and said, I'm going to do this. Is that all right? And he's like, yeah, that's awesome. So we, let's see, let's go like that, go like that, go like that. I can show you the Logic song file to this. I did a couple edits. He had it a bit longer. He had it repeat a section here. And then I added some elements to it to sweeten it out. But it came out really, really nice. It was so cool. So here's the original, just right here. I mean, he's such a talented composer. Like here, there's bass from the piano, right? But I wanted David Foster. I wanted that. You add that to the mix, that sub bass, which is from the Keyscape library. And just like, oh my God. And then because it's a demo, this is to show all these different patches. So I added these elements. So if you play it back and you add those parts, you'll hear the added piano part. So just because it's a demo and I wanted to show more, he wanted it more like this perfect cinematic thing, but it's a demo. I needed to show like that needed to be in this part right here. So here's without it. And then I wanted to add a little bit more of a bell thing, so here's without it first. And then here's with it. Whoops, we had a glitch. One more time. Oh, it's still giving me an error message. It's gonna give me an error message. Wow. Okay, well, let's have the video go away. So let's go movie, edit, movie, remove the movie. That will help because it's a high resolution movie. Why are you not playing? Oh my goodness. It's missing a part. Interesting. Well, there's a nice little bell sound that's in there that you can't hear. But it's not showing. Let me revert. We're going to revert one more time. So revert to saved. 1 second. Revert. The song's name is The Proposal. It was actually called Living Colors. The Proposal version is what Bob asked me to call it. I think he's going to have it also available through his music library licensing that he does, because all the demos he does end up in his music libraries for licensing to picture and stuff like that. Movie, remove the movie. So now we can play it and hopefully it will show up this time, right? So here's what, let's do it without it first. So here's without it. Oh my gosh. Well, you can hear it up here. How's that? Here, you can hear it here. Oh wait, let's see. Let's go unmute here, unmute there. Hear the bell? Just added a few little production pieces like that. Just help make it nice. And at the end, during the celebratory part, I had some little right here. I added some elements like that. Otherwise, everything else is all Bob amazing. And then he had, if we were to like go like this, I don't know if I can do this or not, but you could hear where he had, see, this section here, unmute, solo all this. Let me get this to be like, you'll hear it's a little rough, but we had to go around one more time. And then fall, you know. But for the sake of the video, I didn't need that. And for the song itself, I'm not so sure it needs that either. That's one of those, you know, production choices you can make when you're doing it. They like big transitions and stuff like that for certain things. So let's see if I undo. There. So what I had, wait, you're supposed to be right there. So I had it fading one part out while it faded the other part in. And then that can kind of be free. I'm not doing anything synced to tempo as far as needing the click to be accurate and the timing. I didn't set the tempo to be what it needed to be because this is just taking an audio recording and then I'm just adding live playing over the top of it of real-time stuff. So I'm not needing it to be perfect to clock. So I could just shift it around until I had this fade in, fade out transition about where I wanted it to be. You know, it could have been a little bit later. I don't know. To have it be just, you know, but what I did worked to the picture and stuff, so I kept it as it was. So that is a really cool demo, and I will, after this stream is over, it will become live for people to watch on YouTube, so Colton can show it with his family and stuff. It's been hidden for the last week since we did it. So that came out really nice. Really happy with that. So any questions from you guys? I'll do this. This is going to be a fairly short and sweet live stream. I wanted to share what's going on with that. The Kolours library. Thank you to those of you that have bought the library. It's selling actually better than I expected it would, which is really nice. So thank you for that. The introductory offer of it's on a discounted price. That ends tomorrow night. So if you want to pick up the library and save some money, are these protected tracks or they're not deleting or what? It's really funny. Delete the tracks. Thank you. So let me see here. If there's anything else I want to show, if you have any questions about the library, any questions in general about Omnisphere things or something like that, happy to answer some questions for a bit. Have you used, I have not used Nux. What the heck is Nux? N-U-X-X. Let's see, is it available as an audio unit by Audio Air? Getting to know Nux. Multi-effect unit by parameter sequence-based effects. I might have looked at this. Audio Error makes some interesting plugins. But no, I haven't looked at this yet. Oh, I know what these guys are. Yes, so I have their synth that they made, Zone. I have issues with Zone. I'm having a hard time with liking that. I just don't like, one of the big things with it that kind of drives me crazy is that once you assign a parameter to its parameter lanes, that parameter can't be changed anymore just by modifying it. Maybe they've modified it in an update, but in the last version that I worked with, I wasn't a big fan of how it worked. But having sequencer-based changes to effects is something that I think would be fun. So yeah, but I don't know it. I haven't worked with it a lot. Any suggestions about a good sound card to use with Logic? I would suggest Universal Audio, just because I absolutely love their effects to death and think that they're better than anybody else's for the money. And unlike Waves and other companies, especially Waves, where you buy it and then they sell it to you cheap and then you have to pay for it when they bring out an update in the future with Universal Audio and Apollo, and they have a little more smaller sound card versions as well. You buy the effect, you own it. There's no longer a licensing thing connected to it. If you don't need preamps, let's see here. So I would say, looking at that, there's other options out there. If you need just really good high quality playback, maybe you don't need Universal Audio, but if you want something where you can use Universal Audio's effects to master all my songs, I master with Universal Audio's effects, and I have bought almost all of them. So I have a lot invested in Universal Audio. I love their concept, and a friend of mine worked with them. Yeah, Sugar Bytes has this plugin very similar to Nux. Yeah, Sugar Bytes Artillery, I believe it's called. Something with extra outputs. Yeah, for click tracks. If you're doing, you never know what you're going to do in the future. So make sure you have some expandability instead of just stereo outs. Tim asks, can we expect some more libraries with live instruments converted and processed in Omnisphere? Probably not. I have my own plugin coming out pretty soon that has an engine that can play more than 8 samples at a time. And I am tired of making libraries where I have to give up on the quality of what I'm going to make to sacrifice putting it into 8 samples across the keyboard. I really got lucky. Let's see here. If I go over here to even Universal, the violin library. Violin libraries, as you might know if you own any Contact libraries, typically have every note sampled. They have round robin. They have multiple samples at different velocities. They have all sorts of stuff that, because of the rules of how you work with Omnisphere, it's a single sample loaded into a single patch. And then if you want, you can use the stack mode, and I've made presets to split it so I have 8 parts across the keyboard. So this way I could have 8 different patches that are mapped across the keyboard. The pain in the ass with this is if you want to change it from a fast attack to a slow attack, you have to go in and you have to edit the envelope of every one of these 8 patches. I'm just tired. It's not fun. So no, I am not doing any more sample-based instrument libraries for Omnisphere. I'm not interested in jumping through that very difficult, painful hoop. But I did say, like I said, I did get away these libraries, even those 8 samples. And then if you add the reverb from the Mega Magics to these, right? But here's the thing. I can go down here. I can say load up Unify. Plugin Guru. And the Pro version, even the basic version of Unify, is going to come with the sample player and with a set group of libraries. By the way, we've now modified this so that it's in its final layout. I love how this works. You can choose subsets. So here's how it works. For those of you that don't know, Unify is coming out September, October. That's what we're aiming for. You can have an unlimited number of instruments that you can split and layer and put across the keyboard. Each one can go through an unlimited number of all of your VST effects and plugins. If you use Ableton Live, if you use Cubase, you can say show MIDI layers and have 2 MIDI effects that can be working at the same time, and you can save a preset. So if I want, I can hit this button right here, and boom, I have loaded up 5 hives that are playing. I can go down here and say boom, and now I have 8 DX7s. We are going to include a handful of free synthesizers that are badass, that are public domain. So if I want, I can go subsets and change the subset. So basically you have all. This is how most synthesizer DAWs show you your effects. They're in folders by the company names. If you want Avenger, you have to go to, where is it? Killingworth Audio for VPS Avenger. Well, we have another way to work. There's subsets, and this is the full subset. So I can go down here to just VPS Avenger, and there it is. So I can say that, or I could say Thorn, or I could say any synthesizer, and it shows all the instruments I have loaded. But I can also have subsets. So if I change this to factory voicing, now when I look at this subset, it's only this many effects. And we're gonna have subsets of wavetable synths, and it'll have every wavetable synth that's listed, sample-based, additive, all that kind of stuff. So it'll be really easy to trim down how you look at your effects and how you use them. Each instrument that you add, if you say add another instrument, is on a separate core. So I can build an Omnisphere Multi and Unify that's more efficient than it is inside of Omnisphere because of how that works. So it's really, really cool how this is working out. We have a built-in sample player. So if I go built-in and sample player, Guru Sampler, and right here I could say Mega Magic Violin, and right here I can say all of my libraries, and I could say, like the patch I just played, the motion slow. Give me a little release there and a little bit release here, and I can play the samples, and I can make sample maps with as many samples as I want. So anything I make in the future, and what's fun with this is I can say add another instrument layer, and let's say I want to use Dexed, and I want to go over here to the cart, and I want to go, I've got a keyboard set, so I could say add like the really cool Electric Grand or something like that, and right, and turn down the volume. Go to the cart, find another. Go back here. And if I wanted, I could say, and I also want to layer another instrument, and I want it to be, let's go to the all list, and let's go to, I gotta move my key thing here, is that records to, let's use something from Reveal Sound. Spire, and I could go to a library that we did, and I could call up a really cool pad, and we don't hear it. We hear it, but we don't see it. Why isn't Spire working? So there we go. So I can get all sorts of cool stuff going on. Right? So, and then save it as a preset so it's easy to call it back up in the future. Good stuff. So if I make stuff in the future, it's going to be supporting Unify. I might make libraries for Omnisphere. I might make libraries that are Omnisphere Plus inside of Unify because it's so much fun to layer things and have things going on beyond just one plugin. I can make libraries for all sorts of things now. So, yeah, has full life performance setup switching. We will get there at the future. Not to start with. This is our first stab for 2 people making a plugin. Oh, I should turn this back on so you can see what's going on here. Hello. This is something that we're doing, and then this is going to grow, and it will expand and have features added over time. Live performance and set lists and changing and doing all that kind of stuff is things we want to do in the future for sure. There's some capabilities for that because it's listening to MIDI channels. So you could say, I want this listening on this MIDI channel and have a couple of keyboards that are transmitting on different MIDI channels. So you can do things like that, but more elaborate setups are something that we'll be supporting in the future. But yeah, I'm not interested in dealing with 8 samples across the keyboard as my limitation anymore. Those days are over. So I might make other like Synthi libraries and stuff like that don't count on it. But when you get into acoustic instruments, you really need more samples and more capabilities than 8 samples. Even the guitar libraries and stuff that I've done that are using guitars, these I got away lucky. I'm surprised that they worked as well as they did. I think these are only 6 samples, but am I on the right track? And I got solo off, and it should be able to play, right? Boy, there's something really interesting going on in the audio domain here for this live stream because it should be working. Let's see. So we say no plugin. Try one more time on the sphere. Sorry about that. I apologize. There. Go to Mega Magic Guitars and load. Oh, sound sources are not there. I thought I had the sound sources in the directory for that. How funny. Or Mega Magic pads. I do know this is here. I was working with this last night. These types of libraries I could do in Omnisphere because you don't need so many samples across the keyboard. So so a pad library like this is something that's possible. But I'll tell you, I've got, I went through and sampled the Waldorf synthesizers in my studio. And there's 15 samples across the keyboard. And they sound incredible. And I really don't want to cut that down to 8 samples. It won't sound as good. So I'm limited in some cases with things like that where the accuracy is diminished if I try to accommodate and work with this limit. So we'll see. Will Unify Pro will come with all of my sample libraries inside of it. We'll have the Unify Basic, which will have a select set. There will be one thing you select and it will have samples from all the different libraries. But all of these libraries and all of the samples will be included inside of Unify Pro, which will be, it's going to be so fun. I'm really excited. So to be honest, it's like, now that I'm done with the Keyscape library, it's like focusing time on this to come out. So all the Creaturesque, all the pads, so I could say Battle Bright and all that kind of stuff. And get the attack and get the release better and So yes, all of these, in fact, I'm converting Signs of Life. So it will be in here. All of the Retrosphere stuff. Those will all be in here. So the Pro version will have like multiple gigabytes of samples. Very exciting. Okay, so that's happening. That's what's in the works. We'll see what we do next. But Unify, from what you said you are looking to do, um, we will be doing more acoustic in the future. Um, will Unify accept a live audio input? That will come in the future for sure. There's all sorts of stuff we want to do in that regards. In fact, I think it might have audio input support now. But we're not getting into the spec of everything. I don't want to get into spec. I'll let you know the price when it's out, okay? Too early to say, but it's going to be, I really am into the concept of making it a very fair price, and then it will never go on sale. And nothing disturbs me more than people doing 80% off library sales and stuff, because all of you guys are just buying tons of stuff you don't even know you need and filling up your hard drive with stuff you'll never listen to. And then you're burned out and you don't want to buy anything new. And you've got all this stuff that you didn't need in the first place that you've bought because it was $20. And I don't like discounts. I mean, I work really hard for each of these libraries, takes months and months and hundreds of hours to make. And so I don't discount my libraries any more than 40% at the max. And even then I feel really bad when I do that. So I'm actually considering never having sales ever again, because it's so much work to make these libraries. And there's chunks of me in these patches. I approach this from a different approach than the guys that just make EDM libraries and spit out 2,500 patches for $20. I would never do that. So like I said, we talked about this last week. It's a whole different concept, what I do. And so I try to make things fair and let them go, and out there for sharing. This is how I share my artistry. I could make records and stuff, but instead I like to support all of you guys and get you all fired up with sounds and inspiration, okay? All right, I'm out of here. If there's any questions, you can email me at support@pluginguru.com. Yeah, quality comes with a price. Someone that cares and really doesn't want to sell out. You know, I consider it a sellout that these guys are doing this to their patches, even if they're 5 years old. I mean, I had a friend here yesterday and we went through like my Absinthe library. I mean, guys, Absinthe is one of the coolest synthesizers still to this day on the planet. It has the most powerful envelopes of any synthesizer ever released. Nobody has come to the power yet where you could take and do something like, if I go down here to some of these BPM, like the Super Saw pulses and like Pulsation Nirvana. This one here has on it I have the down pulses and the up pulses. You wanna be downbeats? So like, what all of a sudden makes this worth like 0.5 cents? Because I'm gonna sell this library for $20 instead of $39 or something like that. It's just like, no. I spent all the hours making these in the first place. And some of the pads are still some of my favorite pads on the planet when you get down here to the pads. Apocalypse. And this is like the third library I released in like 2010. It's 9 years old. There's still nothing that can do that sound. So why would I give it away? It's just stupid. And then spent days and days to set the controllers up. So bring up the cloud. I mean, crazy stuff. Nothing makes pads like absinthe. And nobody uses it because it's not the latest, greatest, oh my God, wavetable thing, you know? And we were also, my buddy was here, we jammed last night for a couple hours, and we also were using Massive, which still is just an absolute serious barn burner. What's my kid asking for? And go to the browser and down here to the, where is it at? Massive. These still are just... Great stuff. I mean... And the pads, the basses, so many great... So, you know, I believe, you know, you put value in your work. You know, don't chase the almighty dollar just to sell out. Right? So I could go on and on. I'll get off my soapbox. But thank you to all of you that support the cause. Keeps the adventure going. There's all sorts of cool new snow trails and places to go and stuff like that. Yeah, you know, people have had just use your green sounds and grooves. Ivar, my friend, if you go here, wait, cancel. He's saying it'd be nice to hear all my sounds and demos. And I if you go to soundcloud.com and, in fact, I was showing my buddy, we were playing tracks. I hadn't seen him in 20 years, so we hung out. If you go to SoundCloud and go to Plug and Groove to playlists, there's an awful lot of demos. You could go to the Absinthe Power Pack demos. Some of these, like As the Waves Wash Over Me, is still one of my favorites. Play that. So many demos that are mine using tons of sounds and stuff like that. So there's a few demos from yours truly up there. You know, FMA Power Pack, these are all really cool. There's so many great, I like the demo songs I've done. I just don't, I'm actually looking at making a little label so I can release the demo songs as an album, because there's some really fun, good ones out there, and they might as well just get out and see the light of day and be shared, stuff like that. Anyway, thank you for your time, your support. The Colors for Keyscape Library sale ends on Sunday night, and then it goes to its happy price of $39, which is a very fair price for what it offers. Such a great sound. All right, so I will see you around. Be well and have a great weekend and keep being inspired. Okay, so see you later. Oh, shout out. We got a shout out. We didn't shout out. Shout out from Porter. Big shout out. I talk more sense than any other producer of sounds and politicians. Don't get me started on politics, let me tell you. Yeah, no, we need to just be fair and honest and ask for the honesty of everybody. It make this world a whole lot better. Right on, Shane, my brother. Shane is working his butt off on Unify. Massive shout out. It's going to be an honor to release his code as this synthesizer that we were working on. It's more than a synthesizer. It's so much more than that. It's actually, yeah. It's pretty big scale thinking that we're trying to do. It's really fun. From Denmark, Edmonton. I love that. Edmonton, Thailand, Coxa. You're there at 4 a.m. Dude, you're crazy. Love it. Thank you so much. From Ontario, Canada, the Dreamer Project, wherever that is. Good to see you, David. All right. You guys be well. And again, find inspiration everywhere you can. Keep it on the positive, okay? See ya. Bye.